Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Let's change this camera. This certainly does not give me a good image. Where are we? That's a better camera. How is everyone doing? Both on my YouTube channel and my Facebook channel. I am monitoring both. I think the last time I tried this dual stream, it lasted an hour before before my computer gave up on me. But I like doing this. This way I can be in basically two platforms at the same time, coming from one computer. So my name's Samuel Tolbert, Sound of Joy Music Services. I am a musician instructor, and I have been instructing musicians, I would say, as far back as 1992. Back in the old paper days when I would actually mail out chords and ideas for how musicians can become better in their local churches to the different churches, graduating to the internet age in 1999 through AOL dial up, the old 900 board, I believe it was, or 300 board. Yeah, 300 board, where I would share MIDI files with the entire world. And then finally on live, when I was able to get cable, high speed cable, into this location where I'm right now, here in my basement of my home studio. And then I have been live on YouTube since 2006. So this is a love of mine, being able to share the techniques that I've used for years in learning gospel music to share with musicians anywhere and everywhere. So I am monitoring both. If you see me looking around a bit, I'm monitoring three screens basically on two monitors and on my iPad to make sure that I'm being heard. Um, Rules, at least on my Facebook page, on my YouTube page, it says, "Welcome to the live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our company guidelines," which means I encourage conversation between those who come in on the channel. If you want to greet one another on my YouTube page, it can be anywhere in the world. I've had people from Brazil, from Australia, from Romania, from Africa, from Japan, who have come in on my live streams, and I would give everyone the opportunity to ask questions. This is now more than just teaching, but this is conversation and dialogue between musicians. Just checking to make sure that all my lighting is okay. One of my lights may just dim out on me. If it does, I will compensate with the other lights because I want to have fun tonight. I want to be able to show how this thing about music is really not as difficult as it may seem. It's all a mind concept, being able to understand the nature of chording and how to turn it into music. I see something on my YouTube stream. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Uh-oh. Why is it not getting enough to stream? Because I may have so much running in the background. Okay, let me change my scene. Let's see if that makes YouTube happy. As I say, I've done this once before, and after an hour, everything crashed out on me. Yeah, I'm getting the same information on my Facebook page. Too much, and I shut down things in the background too. Wait, let's shut down some more. Let's shut this down, and let's shut this down. As I say, I've got several pages open because I want to be able to make sure I can communicate with those of you who are coming on the stream. So Let's see if these alerts go away. Let me make sure I can see my hand moving. Just watching my metrics. I may have to shut one down and just put a link from the YouTube page to my Facebook page. So those of you who are on, if you are live monitoring to see how many are on, is there a problem with hearing me or a problem with the stream being poor? In fact, I'll tell you what I will do. I will make some adjustments if you will give me a chance. I'm going to shut down Facebook stream and just put a link. So give me a chance to do that. Let's shut this down because I don't want this stream to end. So I've just shut down my Facebook link. It's a very good chance that my computer can't handle it. All right, so now that I've done that, let me go and share this page on my Facebook link. I'm doing that now through my iPad. There it is. And let's share it to a group. And let's share it to another group of musicians. Good. Okay, so we are sharing now. Let's see if that helps the analytics for the stream. Okay, so we're going to be breaking down the song Bless Me by Donald Lawrence and the Tri-City Singers. I selected this song because I'd heard another musician playing it for a soloist, and I said, gee, I know this song, but I've never used it as an actual instructional tool for church musicians. It has so many intricate moving chords, constant movement throughout the song. It would make a nice video for those who are looking to develop their left hand. Let me just let's close that. Let's go back here. Okay, I think I'm all set. So the last time I did this, I aired snippets of the song that we were going over, and of course I got my YouTube notification that that is a copyrightable song. No errors, no strikes against me. They just began to share anything that would monetarily be from that. And I don't mind doing that again because this is a instructional piece that I'm doing. So hopefully they will understand, for those who may monitor this, that I'm trying to give instructions for musicians who are learning to play. And I say by hearing, you hear the tones, you hear the melodies, you hear the chords, and then you apply the knowledge that you have of those melodies and chords. Let me just pull up. That error is still there. I guess it won't reset. I'm watching analytics. It looks good. Stream health. Still post the error there. So those that are watching, you'll let me know whether or not um, the stream is choppy. So let's just dive into it. It's in the key of E flat. Now I'm a proponent of practicing scales, and as I notice all the other YouTube content creators that are teaching music, they are now mentioning scales in their presentations, which makes me feel so good because I kind of feel like they've been watching me, and they see how I show the importance that your chords are built from scales. Now I only deal with three mainly: the major scale, the harmonic minor scale, and the minor scale. I found that those three scales contain 80% of the songs that I have learned in gospel music. So understanding that and the chording that can go along with those scales, when I hear a song that uses them, I can immediately leave off anything major sounding and deal with minor song if I'm hearing that actual dark tone or that classical sound, or go to the major scales if I'm hearing straight chords, you might say, hymnal type chords, or early gospel, which has the major scales in them, like the jazz scales, or your how can I put it, your urban gospel songs that where they really have a lot of like the real wacky chords. So let's hear a little bit of the opening so that I can show you the concept that I've always used over the years for learning these songs. And remember, please, if you have a comment, for those who are watching on Facebook, if you're seeing the feed from my YouTube page, you'll have to come to my YouTube page to leave any comments or ask any questions. I can't monitor uh, that page right now. So let's listen to the opening of the song. I was doing 15 seconds before. I have to cut it down to 10 seconds. Here we go. We're going to stop right there. So already we hear the lowest note, which is why I say playing scales is so important. Now, there are some that live by the concept if you learn the bass to a song, you learn the song. I don't believe in that concept. I believe the bass note is your lowest note of the song. It is the floor, it is the basement, it is what brings everything else together in a chord. It determines the full tonality of that chord. So when you hear that, that's the lowest note, which means on your left hand, if you don't have a bass player, you know on your left hand, if you're going to begin this song, that's B flat to E flat. Now, there was some string sounds in there. You always want to listen to the lowest note and then coincide that with the highest note. I have to talk within these 10 seconds so that the YouTube bot doesn't flag me for doing the song. So now we know where our lowest note is. Let's hear the highest note. This is the intro. Back that up a little bit. Get that first in there. Come on, a little more. Okay, so we're not in the that lets me know what scale we're in. We're in the minor scale. And if you're watching my hands, I am playing the scale, but finding the notes that I hear So now we've got our lowest note and our highest note. And that is the concept. Hey, Micah, how you doing? That is the concept I've always used. Give me the simplest way of hearing first what I'm going to learn, which means where's the lowest note, where's the highest note. Now I know where to position all the other chords. So let's hear what next chord we're going to add. Again, in the scales. Now that's in the major scale. That's what I'm hearing, those two. All right, let's go back. I have to have conversation in between the musics that I'm playing because YouTube algorithm, these bots, these computers, AI computers are very smart. They'll go, you can't do that. Well, I'm talking also to have conversation about breaking down a song. Here we go, 10 seconds. Uh-oh. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Stop. I'm getting a circular. Something has locked up. Let me see. There we go. All right, we're going to stop right there. So we've got now I believe that's what I heard. First time, second time, so oh, you're welcome, Micah. So now we hear movement, which is why I say when you get a good feel for playing the scales, let's adjust the camera. I have a special spot I'd like to see it. A good feeling for hearing scales, you can now work with both your hands. So now I am finding a comfortable positioning of my hands because generally my right hand doesn't go in this range. It's left for the left hand. It's only when I'm going to do, if I'm doing a run down there. But now I'm sort of taking my wrist out of position. It rather would be here, but the melody, the opening of this song has me down here. So now here's where the right hand is trying to what's the word I want to use? Trying to articulate the touch. Which fingers? This two or these two? Whatever's more comfortable. All right, so we have established from the intro standpoint. Um, there's some other instrumentation going on, but if you were the only musician playing, then you could, from an actual piano standpoint, you can actually now mimic the opening of the songs to where whoever is listening can say, "Hey, that sounds what they're doing on the album." All right, so we got that much. Let's go a little further and see how do they come out of this part. Okay, first chord. So that's good. A lot of the gospel songs have so much happening in it, you almost have to count your way to get to that very first note. So we've come out of right there. Now the first note. Now, what I'm hearing is and this is good for learning how to hear choir voicing in a song. Choir, as I often said, choir voicing gives you 60% of the chords of the song. Now, is there an F there or is there an A flat? Let's see if I can catch that very beginning when the choir comes in. Here we go. And I hear the sopranos, altos, all in the scales. Just that second note. I want to see. I think the alto changed their note. All right. Now I heard the change. Now I would only be able to hear that change if I practice scales, because they are singing the scales. Chords are just broken scales. Let's hear the next chord after that. Where did the tenors go? I want to hear the second note the tenors did. Tenor's voice. So that gives me my soprano voicing. Why are these voicings so necessary? Because from a music standpoint, you want to be able to support where the choir voicing is going. If a soloist is singing, you also want to support where the solo voice is going. So now I've got it. Now this is kind of drop 2. Let me see. So they're here. So I can go here trying to hear the lowest note, where the lowest note is, because it all supports what's happening right now. Back in the scales again. So your bass is going counter to where the what part of the timing and syncopation what part of timing and syncopation play in the fingering? Who is responsible to maintain it? For who's fingering though? Because in music, when it's scripted music, in other words, when it's spelled out in sheet music, it's everyone's responsibility to play their note at their particular timing in the song. When it's gospel, whoever is directing, they are determining the timing of the song. So let me see where we were. There we go. My ear is hearing every time I stop it and I pick um a a specific spot in the song, be it the bass note, choir voicing, or what the music is doing, I have to eliminate everything else and only hear what part of the scale are they playing. Your bass is here. Your bass is right here. That's where your bass notes are going. He's following his own scale. The choir voicing is going. And I want to be able to show you the actual technique that I use when I'm playing choir voicing. I'll play both. I'll do the choir voicing if it's necessary to support the singers, but then I will branch off and do what the music is requiring. Now, am I exact 100% what the particular musicians are playing? I'll hear what the piano player is doing, and I'll mimic him. But then I'll also jump into what the choir voicing is if necessary. It's all a part of the scale. If I wanted to do from a music standpoint, fine. Or I could go. Still okay, but now I'm putting the music above where my choir voicing is. That sometimes can clash if it's 100% done. Which is why I always say you want to hear where your vocals are and try to be in their range, unless of course the song allows you to go. Let me see. But you still have to have your notes within the scale range of what your vocals are doing. All right, let's go a little further. Okay. I immediately picked up on this one as my altos, my sopranos here. My tenor notes I didn't pick up on right there. Let's see where the tenor note is. Hmm. Tenor note is down there. Now that's the chord I hear, because I've used that chord for years. Why is all this really important? As I say, as you learn the intricate choir voicing in a song, you find it that much easier to place the chords around it. YouTube, please don't give me too much of a strike. I just want to hear that tenor note here. Okay. Yes. Wow. I'm having trouble with the tenor note. If though they're not there, they come in right there. So now I'm wondering if there is a tenor note there. I know what note I would put there. Let me hear it again. A little bit further back. Here we go. Mm-hmm. 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 I may need to come back to that because I'm not. I'm hearing tenors doing a octave of E flat. So let's go a little further because we don't want to, again, hang on one part because we really want to learn the actual chords. So we've got our for argument's sake, oh Lord. And this thing about touch, you could bang or you can just let it roll. And the where is that in? Almost like you're in the pentatonic scale, which is why you can put that chord. Oh Lord, bless. Once again, oh Lord. There it is. Remember when I said in when you're playing songs in a scale, you can borrow the chords from every note in that scale. The E flat major scale starting on C becomes the C minor scale, the same notes. So depending upon where you want your song to go, if you're using, that's E flat major and C minor. That's a chord you would see down in C. A chord you would see in G. Why? Because G's in the scale. that is one of the secrets about music. When you listen to where songwriters are getting their chords and you begin to dissect it, take it apart, you will hear how they are borrowing chords from every note in the original scale where they place their song. So now we're in E flat, but we're also in C minor with these chords. We're in E flat and still in C minor. In E flat and still in C minor. In E flat and still in C minor. In E flat, but now we're in C major because of that B, which is going to give us a nice turn to the C minor. Scales are the, and please, if you have questions, stop me so I can maybe stop talking about scales so much. But I found out once I got and accepted how important scales are to any song I'm learning, I listened for what chords are, when I hear a chord, what scale is it built on? Is it on a minor scale, or one of the two minor scales, or on a major scale? Then I know what notes I don't have to play. Bless me. How do I crawl? Thumb, pinky, thumb, and the forefinger. Now, I could use that C there, but I want to, spread the chord out to give it a more tonal effect. Let's listen to the rest of it. Let's go back a little bit. Bless me, oh Lord, bless me indeed, enlarge my territory. Choir voicing. The alto note, I want to make sure I got that correct note there. Bless me indeed, enlarge my territory. So it's starting on the C. So the building blocks for chord to any song start with the scales. That's where your chords come from. They come from a scale. Now there again, if you want to call out how many, I think I did a one series where I actually found a chart that had all these different scale names, to where it was the Hawaiian scale, the Spanish scale, this scale, that scale, Mixolydian, Laodicean. There's so many other scales that I don't touch on because that takes me into another world of music. But for gospel music, I find that the chords I hear, the gospel songwriters or the producers, because I believe the producers are the ones who determine what chords are being used, not the songwriters. But the producers said, no, you're going to use this chord if I'm going to produce this song. Where are they pulling their chords from? And I do believe that they want to make it as easy to learn as possible. So what is my lowest note doing right there, so I can make sure that I am as close to the original song before I begin to mix in. Let's see what we got. Bless me indeed, enlarge my territory. I believe they're on the F right there. Let's just make sure. This is the bass. That's what the bass is doing. I don't have to do that, but to know where they are. All right, so we know where we are there. Let's hear the rest. That's what I'm hearing from the voices. Okay. Scales. So, where are we at? Oh Lord. And I think that's going to take us to. All right. So we have now taken apart the intro, the opening choir voicing. We didn't really put all the chords, because the music is not running away with it. It is following the path of the singers. Let me see. Bless me. Questions. That's I'll go 65, 75% of what you are hearing in the actual recording. I'll put a link to the YouTube page that I'm using. Hopefully, I haven't seen anything pop up yet to say that I've hit anybody's copyright. Sound like I think I might. Well, that's okay, because this is all about, for me, it's all about sharing, shedding and sharing, giving you actual techniques to learning songs, so that any song that you pick that you're required to learn in a short period of time, or given 2 weeks to learn, you can begin to dissect the song first by hearing what scale it's in. Key number one, are they using a major scale? Or one or two of the minor or the harmonic, the minor scale, the minor scale or the harmonic minor scale. And then where is the melody going for the singing? When it's unison singing, it's a lot easier. The minute you get into three parts, then they open the floodgates as to are they going to be in a major scale. In this song, they're in both major and minor in the choir singing, but it makes for a beautiful tone. And mm, mm, very choppy. So in this sense, I am combining both music and the choir parts, and they're clashing with how the touch I want to use. So now that once you become comfortable and you know the path, you can just go. I messed it up. Let the choir sing. Musician chords. Still not comfortable. Try that again. And minor. I got to get the choir voicing out of my head now. It's in there. Play music. Try the choir voicing on my. Get the choir voicing out your head, Sam. I can leave the choir voicing out of my head. Just music. Bum, bum, bum. Almost got it out. Still hear it in my head. So when you begin to try to separate the choir voicing, which is what I'm doing, I'm struggling with it because my finger is saying, but this is where the choir is going. Chord around this, but I want to be able to chord around that. Let's keep going. So we hear the piano in the scale. This is what the piano is doing. Picking up all the subtleness, what's going on with the music. Almost got the choir voicing. All right, so we can get past that. Again, that's when you begin to musically begin to move around the song. Let's see what we got next. Let's skip ahead to the right there.
God, keep your hand upon me.
Okay, the classic gospel walk-up.
What's up, traders? Olivia Vaz here, the host of
Ads. Don't want to hear an ad. Live does that to you sometimes. Let's see if we can get past this ad. Skip the ad. It's not good, is it? All right. Okay. So, the classic walk-up. This kind of is your catalyst. It lets you know where your starting note is going to be, and this is where the circle of fourths comes in. We're in E flat, but we're going to go up to A flat for our the actual continuing choir song. So I have a whole myriad of ways to get there, but I always try to go the way that the actual music wrote first before I go. Before I use my own path, or so many different ways from so many other tunes, but we'll go with the one that they wrote in the song first. This is where you build your chord progressions from learning it from other songs. So let's hear their progression from E flat to A flat. Let's see. A little bit ahead.
God, keep your hand upon me.
Again, the lowest note, which is a scale. 2, 3, 4. There's no C there, so straight E flat. My watch battery is dying on me. Let me throw it on the charger. Not sure if I've leaving anyone with questions. Let me just verify that. Okay, I'm just checking my Facebook page to see if there's any questions there. Let's go to my page. And I see no questions. Okay, come back here. So the classic gospel walk up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's hear what's happening after that. So now the music is open up. Now you can open up. There's your choir voicing there, but now I can play around it. All of this is open to you because now the choir is opening up, so now you don't have to be pigeon-toed underneath the voices. Let's see what's coming next. I sort of jumped ahead. These are the contemporary gospel chords from the 70s. If you learned any of the Hawkins songs, the Thomas Whitfield songs, the Andre Crouch songs, and this is an Andre Crouch lyrics put to music by Donald Lawrence. I just added that note in there to sort of give a little more fatness to it. Breaking it down. So from walk up, sorry, and it's going to, hey, how are you doing, The Heart? Praise God, everyone. It's a blessing to be here, and I'm grateful for your live session. Thank God. Oh, you're so welcome. So welcome. Glad to have you as part of my live. And I will digress a bit so that YouTube does not come after me for playing this song in the background. I've been doing this this mode of instructing musicians for a better part of 2 decades now, trying to share everything I know, coming from the era of when musicians refused to help me. And I made the promise to God that if I ever got good, not great, but good, where I can help other musicians, I would not hide any chords from any musicians, no matter what song I know. And if I don't know the song, at least be able to teach the concept that I use so that they can not have to be left out in the dark as to how are you playing that song? How do you find choir notes? How do you find runs? How do you do anything musically? Because was it a release for me to be able to decipher anything musically? No. It was a comfort knowing that if I wanted to learn something, I could. If I had to learn, back in my day as a young musician, I played for 6 choirs: children, men, women's, senior, combined mass choir, and quartet groups, male choruses. So I had to learn all these different styles, and I wanted to sound like the album. I didn't want every song to sound the same. So when you see me showing you these tips and techniques, it's because I put study into understanding how did they construct this chord. Hawkins used it. Crouch used it. Uh, Timothy Wright used it. Kirk Franklin used it. John P. Key used those chords. Everybody borrowed those changes and incorporated in those songs. Now, the only one who really went outside of this rule was Thomas Whitfield and I want to say Richard Smallwood. They had their own turn chords. So when I learned their turn chords, I said, oh, okay, you went a different way. You went a classical way. Smallwood would go, that's a a Richard Smallwood turn. That's his turn. Whitfield would do. So once I learned where the basic turn of any chord, the minute somebody added a different wrinkle to it, I said, oh, they just took that note off and put it here, added that note in the middle of these two chords, and it's the same turn, just a different flavor. It's like vanilla ice cream and vanilla ice cream with not walnuts, but pecans. Same vanilla ice cream, they just added the pecan flavors to it. So it's going to turn from here. Let's see. That's what I heard, the highest note, which was the strings at that point of the song. So when you come out of all in the scale, because I'm in C now, back to G, D flat to E flat, borrowing notes when I'm here. And that's the direction they're going. Still listening to the lowest note. There's my lowest note. G is my lowest note. The choir is up here, so now I can borrow the chords. Let me see. There we go. Where are we going from here? So here now we get classical. There's the Richard Smallwood change. That's Richard Smallwood. They all producers borrow from each other. They borrow changes. Gospel tool change. Minor, major seventh, major seventh, major. Slow it down. Minor. Seventh. Seventh. This is classical. Seventh. Major. We're not going to count. 7, 3, 6, 2, 5, 3, 4. It's just a matter of what chords you're putting in it. The bass is determining the number system, but your chords are determining the tone of the song. And let's hear the gospel walk up, turn up, walk up. The gospel walk up.
We stand here, God, and we say, in love.
The lowest note. Diminish that, diminish it there. Yeah, it's an E flat 7th. If I keep the E flat there, but the minute I take off the E flat, it's a diminished chord. Okay, I want to get that turn chord there.
We stand here, God, and we say, in love. Well, it's actually live, so I expect to get a copyright notification, not a strike, but a notification that they hear the music in the background. But I always leave these up because it's good learning for musicians to see me in a live setting versus my making it as a video where I can edit out all my mistakes. You need to see that I still make mistakes. I make changes, especially when I'm hearing the music over and over. I hear the things I would have omitted in a 6-minute lesson. When I do it as an actual live, then you can see that I'm going back and forth and hearing all the other movements. Like I can hear strings, I hear the piano, I hear the organ. I definitely hear the bass note because that, again, is the lowest note. The bottom of every chord is the bass note. Even if it's, if they call a actual rootless chord, whatever is the lowest note of a rootless chord is the full tonality of that chord. So if I were to go, the lowest note is still completes the chord. And a chord, as we know, is three or more notes played together. That's an arpeggio. That's a chord. So we've come out of and the lowest note is here. Enlarge. Enlarge my territory. You're gonna hear those chords change. I say enlarge. Which is why I stress playing scales on your left hand so you can hear what a bass player is doing. Let's see what else we got. Enlarge my territory. Okay, so that's, again, keep it simple. And back to Oh Lord. Oh Lord, bless me. So we're right there to where we left off before we went right into the what they call the actual vamp of the song. The song only has three parts: the beginning, the enlarge. That's the third part of the song. And these type of songs are in sections. So you learn each section of the song until you get comfortable in that section. Because once you get comfortable there, you can now begin to, as they say, work that section as a musician. This is a long song. Let's see what else comes after this. Just a lot of repeats. Yes, I came, proud I am, will come to you. I want you to know. All right, so that's just sing. Just tap two people. All right, so that's, I often say I try to give 60 to 75% of the song when I do an actual viewer request. When I'm taking it apart this much, I want to give the whole concept of what I use when I'm breaking apart a song I've never played before. I've played this song for my own benefits, but never for a choir. So now if I had to do this for a choir, I know their voicing, I know the quasi bass voicing. If I don't have a bass player there, I could do that. I'm going to put this piano in an organ mode just for grins, as they say, to show you how, as an organist, the chords become easier to play. Let's find one that I like to use. There it is, draw control.
Sound like Richard Smallwood's version of Amen. So that's how from an when you're transitioning to the organ, look how much easier. Hey Cindy, how are you? Glad to have you aboard. For those musicians who are transitioning from keyboard or piano to organ, that's how easy it is. Put yourself in an organ mode, and now you can sustain notes for as long as you're pressing the buttons. That's never going to change, so I let it go. Mhm. And walk up. Not. Walk. Something I left off on the choir voicing. That's why the bass stays on the F. And if you can do this reach, you can do these. Questions. Sometimes I can get caught in the music. So that's for those who are going to the organist. You're dependent upon. Now this is an organ patch, so there are no drawbars I can adjust for sounds. This one patch allows me to do this to simulate all the drawbars being pulled out. But that's how you would work a song like this. You'd be very low. There it is. Bring up a little bit.
So as you can see, I am now allowing. I don't have to. I don't have to keep playing when I'm in an organ mode. I don't have to keep playing on the keys to keep them sounding. That's why organists have, they play on the actual cheat mode. They can hold a note and hold it as long as they're right there. They never have to lift that finger, but they can go all these stuff around it. They can do all this stuff around that. Organists have all the fun. Okay, I don't think there's more outside of the ad living. Let's see what's happening near the end. I know this. So again, I'm gonna put the link to the YouTube video that I used here for this live. Fixing supper, but listening and enjoying. Oh, Cindy from Tennessee. And hey, this is great. Will it be uploaded? Yes, it will be. This is a live, but I won't take this live off my page. I do expect to get a notification from YouTube that they hear one of their music videos being played in my background. I try to use their rules. It says I can play portions of it without permission to use it as long as I transform it, which is what I'm doing, into a teaching lesson. But that's okay. I've gotten many of these which have never been a problem. Only one time was a problem. That's totally something different from 2008. So I'm on good ground. I feel. So the whole concept of learning gospel music is to get a feel from your instrument where your notes are. What mode is the song in? Is it in a major mode? Is it using any minors? And I think in this song you really didn't hear any real diminished turn. Now, can you put diminished chords in this song as a musician? Pardon me, as a musician, if you want to reharmonize it, you can do it because it's in such a and I'll call it a pure state of music. Question: Do you alternate songs once a week, or do you teach a song a few times before you move on? Um, Generally, what I have been doing in my earlier days on YouTube, I would pick songs that I felt were relative to what all churches were using. But then I recognized probably 2020 that everybody's churches wasn't singing the same songs I came up with. So I instituted viewer request, which means those who view my channel who are learning from the traditional songs. I would always pick a hymn. I'd pick a gospel song that I thought would still be used in churches. I said, let my viewers decide what the next song should be. And I would say, for the most part, let's see if I can bring up that page, my viewer request page. I just did a search for all of my viewer requests on YouTube, and I think it came up to 169 viewer requests since I started it. So this is my viewer request page. What I tried to do is to record each of the viewer requests so that I would have a record of what's being asked. So if it came up again, I could at least look at it and say, okay, I've done that one. These are, let's increase my size a little bit here. So These are all of the viewer requests since I don't have the dates down there. I just copy them. These are all the songs of my viewer requests. I believe I stopped at about 169. I think number 170 it hasn't been done yet. I've, but these are what I allow. And some viewers have multiple requests, but at least they're not asking for the same song. These are the songs that the viewers ask me to break down for them because they either need it for a song they're currently learning, or sometimes they just want to hear what that song sounds like. And I recognize that sometimes those ones I will actually deny, because if it's something that can't be shared with everybody, then you know go one-on-one with me for a fee and we can work on that song. But for the most part, I would say 99.2% of the time I will answer the viewer request, but they'll get the song in the format of, if they request it from an actual recording, they'll get it from the recording. You can see there's a lot of names here. Some names are doubled and tripled and sometimes quadrupled. But I try to meet the needs of the church musician. If though they were to walk up to me on a Sunday afternoon after a service and say, Mr. Talbot or Brother Talbot or Hey Sam, I'm trying to learn this song and I'm having an issue with learning these chords. As you can see, it keeps going on. These are all of my viewer requests that I get from those who view me on YouTube. I think there's more. Yeah, there's more. So I try to be the church musician's friend, who is also a fellow musician, retired now. I no longer play for a church, but that does not mean I don't keep my skills completely honed, because each time I learn a new song, I'm learning a new skill. That's why music, you never really stop learning music. You basically stop living in a sense. But as to your question, how can I submit a request or access this request sheet? Hard truth, all you do is go to any of the songs that I've done, or even you can do it on this live. I think you can, once I've uploaded this live, if you post a comment, then I will see that comment, and then I will copy it and paste it onto this, and it'll become one of the requests. One thing I do not do is break down another musician's style. I don't do that because that is his style. If he's playing in a song, then I'll do what he did in that song. I will not say, like some people do, what do they call it? Reactions to how a musician played a song. I've thought of doing that, and I go, but I'm not going to teach anything because I really have to study how that person's whole concept of playing is, not just that one concept. And it's got to be a song that I can share with other people. If it says, some people have asked me for song. Well, I do this song in my church. I says, well, if it's not a recording that I can hear, I don't know how they do it in your church. Because I've had requests like that. But if it's one that has been recorded already, or that is a traditional hymn, I love hymns. Playing it in the hymn book way. Where's my hymn book? Let me reach over here and get it. Excuse my backside. I keep this book within arm's length. Oh, I feel like Donald Trump. I I keep this hymn book handy so that if you request a hymn, I'm going to find it in here, find the correct key, find the correct scales, melody that they do it in, and teach it from here, and then add to it. By add to it, I mean, here's how you can play it with modernized chords, not the hymn book notes, because nobody sings four-part harmony. But if people do sing unison, and sometimes your altos or tenors might harmonize a bit, there's always a way to approach music using varied styles. I often say put a gospel turn on it, which is basically light jazz, which is sevenths diminished, and some minor sixes. But yes, how you would submit a viewer request, go to any of my videos, or when this one has ended, go back into it and add a comment and say, thanks, Brother Talbot, for your live. I have a request of this song, whatever that song might be. Or if you know what the song is right now, I have no problem touching on it. As I say, this is a live, so I am always open to Center of My Joy by Richard Smallwood, done in the key of E flat. I think I do have a, I'd have to go into my page. I think I do have a lesson for Center of My Joy already. Let me just take a look on my page. Because you can always go on my channel and do a search in the search engine and just type in the title of a song. If I've done that lesson already, it will come up. Let's see, center. Yes, I do. I did it on October 28th, 2022, Center of My Joy. Let me put the link here in the chat. So you're asking for one that was already done. And there's the link to Center of My Joy. I broke down the song and put it in an actual lesson format the way it sounds on the album. That's the one thing that I do stress, is that I want to be able to instruct. No, it's already right there. I just sent you the link. You can click on that link or save that link, and it will take you to my lesson for Center of My Joy. Richard Smallwood, when he first emerged onto the scene and started playing music, I was shocked that a piano could sound that good with that style of gospel music. Hmm. See, there are those changes. In that song, you will see many of the same changes you just heard me play here in Bless Me. Same chord changes, just used in a different song. That's why gospel music sometimes can be repetitious, because everybody finds a change and they add it to a song they write. Let me take a little swig of juice right now. A beverage of my choice. Any other questions on what I've covered tonight? I hate to take too much time from everyone's hour. I think I've been online now. Let me see. Oh, just an hour and 38 minutes. That's enough for me to get a notification from the good people here at YouTube that we've heard our music playing on your live. Did you know? Yes, I did know. And No, don't mute it. Leave it there. I will share any monetary gains that may come from someone hearing their music. I tried to make it a lesson, which you guys allow me to do, and that's just me paraphrasing, talking to the YouTube people. But this gospel music has been I don't want to say watered down. It's still there. It has adapted another's concept to it with the praise and worship mantra. Hey Charles, how you doing? The praise and worship mantra took a lot of the musicality out of the sound of gospel music, but as I'm listening to new songwriters coming out, they're going back to all of that musicality where there's a lot of movement, not just block chords and one person singing and everybody else singing behind them, but all this music that was such a rich heritage to the sound. Excuse me, just adjusting myself in my chair to the sound of music. There was you always knew when you were hearing a gospel song. Now you can hear a song starting in the one and going to the six and going to the four and going to the five, and you've got to guess what song are they singing, depending upon where they start. If they start in the four and the six, and then they go to the four, and then they go to the one, and then they go to the five, until you hear the lyrics, you won't know what song they're singing. So now you're guessing. No, he's doing that song. No, he's doing this song. No, he's doing that song. But when you heard gospel music, all of a sudden you knew. Or you knew what song was coming up when you heard that opening. But today's adaptation of the number system has our songs being here, coming to the one, go to the five, go back to the six, don't get lost, go to the four, go on to the one, go back to the five. Now go ahead and sing. And you don't know what song. Hey Andre, how you doing? What song it is until you hear the lyrics. I miss the days where I hear a song coming out and I'm like, and the anticipation from the intro begins to pique my interest. It's like I don't want to jump into the song until I hear what they're doing in the intro and then they're coming out of it. What is one of those songs in E flat since we're already here? Call them up. You it it was every praise before there was an every praise. Call them up. If you confess the Lord. Before there was an every praise, there was call them up, and every choir wanted to sing that song. But of course, now again, I'm not throwing shade, as they say, on today's music, but there was a difference. People, and from what I understood, because I never actually experienced that, but they tell me when other churches would get out, they would come to the Pentecostal church to hear them sing. Now you can hear every song in everybody else's church in the same church, so you no need to go traveling to hear something different. What was another one of those songs that you could do in E flat? James Hall. Though James Hall is a whole different kind of an animal.
Holy, you must be. You must be whole. Wow. I play this song. Holiness is time. No man shall see the Lord. Wanna be ready. I forgot that change. Wow, I forgot to change. No man shall see. Want to be caught up. I want to be caught up. Wow, I haven't played that song. Yeah, that was How Excellent was one of my favorite songs to teach and to play. There is none like you. In all the earth. Lowest note. Wonderful change in A flat. Wonderful change. Oh, change. Hawkins. E major coming. G flat, D flat, E flat,
You know the B is coming. G flat, D flat, walk up to D flat, A flat, D flat, E flat, walk up from G flat, change has come over D flat, A G flat. Has come. Very important note. My brother, I shall wear a crown. B to F, B to G flat, G flat to D flat, to E flat. I shall wear a crown. I shall wear a G bass. C 7. Straight jazz. Whole tone scales. Nobody teaches that. Whole tone, well, that's what that is. I shall see his face. Now I know to drop to the G on the bass. No, A flat. I shall. B flat. I taught this. G. It's that certain tone you get when you do a. That's when you take liberties. Yes, Charles, E flat to change the song. Walk up. I'm going to put on my robe. C. I'm going to put on my B to F G sharp, G flat, holding the G flat, go to D flat, and resolve to E flat. Soon as get home. My song, I Love Change, Tremaine Hawkins is the best female gospel singer. I came up in that era as a church musician when the Hawkins were releasing all of those songs. So, and I got to learn them if though I was on the album. So yeah, I got to go nut when I had to do those songs because I learned them from the album, and then I began to add the elements of big band jazz. Bum, 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 bum. My brother called out, encourage yourself. Sometimes you have to encourage yourself. Another think of his name. Why can't I think of his name? Yeah, go back to the YouTube channel. Did I get rid of that? Sure did. Donald Lawrence. No matter how you feel, just take a word that you hear and speak over yourself, encourage yourself in the Lord. Some you. Sometimes minor F7, walk up to B flat 7, same chords you hear in the song we just did. My liberty, for my liberty. Tyler's not ringing a bell with me. Why can't I remember how the verse goes on that? Haven't played that song probably since the 2010, 2012. But I can hear the song played again and it'll all snap back to me. That's how I associate music by the era in which the song came in. Because so many other songs, Sacrifice My Life for My Liberty, still not ringing a bell. Sacrifice My Life. Let me pull it up. Once I hear it, I'll be able to tell whether or not it passed my ears. I did not learn every song. I learned the ones I was required to learn. Sacrifice for My Liberty. That sounds like I've heard that part. For my liberty. All right, there's a Yolanda Adams version and there's a gospel version. Are they both Yolanda Adams? My Liberty. I've listened to this before. I think I may have done a video on this one. Cut that down. I may have done a video on this because I've seen where I've been here. Ah, yes. I believe I have a video of this already done. There it is. I do believe I have done this one because I saw where I have been to this page. Let me go back and search on my channel and see For My Liberty. For My Liberty. Let's try My Liberty. Yep, there it is. I did this one on November 22nd. So let's copy that. And let's put it in the chat. If you're looking for it, there it is. That was one of my requests in November 22nd. And I broke down the song exactly the way you hear it on the album. What was the other part on that one? What was the second part to that? Let's see, the vamp. Yeah, it just repeats. think there was two parts to the entire song. Once, when you practice enough songs, the minute you hear one that you haven't learned, you will hear that they borrowed from this song, and then that cuts down the learning time to basically in half. Because I know jazz beats, I mean jazz runs, boom, 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 boom. I know that. I practiced it. So when I hear that run, I'm like, oh yeah, I know that run. So I don't have to learn that. If there was no bass player there, I wouldn't need one. Yes, I hear these. And I tell you, a lot of these songs, you learn the choir parts. That's 50 to 60% of the song. The rest is just what the other musicians are adding to it. As I said, I didn't want to take up too much of everybody's time, but it's a Friday night, so if you're available to you, yes, I have that video also. E, D. There's a change in there. There it is. Diminished, minor, classical, gospel change. Here's that chord in another key. I tell you, these songwriters borrow everyone else's changes. Because I wipe away their tears. Da, 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 da. Walk up. Gave me my ears. No, gave me my eyes. No. Second verse. Gave me my ears. I can hear your voice so clear. To those who have broken words left me. With my eyes I see a need to more availability. I see hearts that has been broken, so many people to be free. Walk up and Lord, I'm available to you. In G, C minor, or C7 actually. What is it? C7? E flat major 7. E flat major 7. Do what you say, do use me, Lord, to show someone. C7, F, F7, B flat, E flat, to a G7, eventually. My storage is empty, and I am available to you. Use me. Here's the fourths. F7 to G7. Excuse me. G7. Because now we're going to E flat. Use me, Lord, to show someone the way that things are to say. Three parts. My storage is empty, but I am available. There's that change again. My storage is empty, and I am available to you. Boom, boom, boom. And C7. To you. And a jazz chord. But when you have a clear understanding of the relationship that notes have to each other, even though it started in B flat and ended in E flat is a part of the B flat major scale. So it's easy to jump there because it's that chord. All of my life. Wonderful is your name. The bass. There it is. Boom, boom. 8G, E flat. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, whoa. That chord always gets me. There it is. Different way to approach it. yes and no, because I'm from an era when the praise breaks weren't manufactured. Today, everything is so manufactured, and there's so many different styles that it's hard for me to teach what I did back in the 70s, 80s, and the 90s before I left the Pentecostal church. But I do have a video that does teach my style. It is my A flat shout video. Let's pull that up. A flat shout. It's one of my early videos, so the quality is not there. Video quality is really not there, and certainly audio quality is not there, but it was when I first started posting lessons. This is my A flat shout. Now, this is the A flat shout that I used. Not everybody used what I was doing because, again, having a background in jazz music, I believed in bass movement. I'm just pulling up a track I can sort of demonstrate what's going to be happening there, and I did it at a high speed. I believe in bass hand. That's my bass hand. Change. So that's my left hand. All from practicing scales and thinking like a bass player. Change. 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 Stay right there. Stay right there, bass. Chain, 5, climb, and right there. So yes, I do have the A flat shout, which I put in but it's hard to teach that. I wrote out my pattern, but if you don't practice scales, as you can see, I could look at my left hand and leave my right hand alone, knowing where I want the left hand to go, because I could practice that for hours in every key. Doesn't have to be just in A flat, but I did this in A flat because that's the musician's shout key. Everyone wants to have that lowest note and come up from the bottom. But I think I also transitioned to B flat. No, because when I change keys, my muscle memory changes, which is why I did one also in B flat on that same video.
and I wrote out the the actual generic pattern because my fingering changes. Much easier. Chain, E flat, F, to E flat, to F, G, A flat, A, back to B flat. Because for me, I made up the actual bass patterns as I was in the midst of a service. And whichever one was helping to drive the enthusiasm of the congregation, that's where I stayed. I wasn't one of those guys that went up every key. I stayed in the same key I was in. When it came time to change, went a half a step. Came time to change, went up another half a step, and just followed what I call my basic patterns. In the one, in the four, in the one, in the four, in the one, in the four. Go to the five, do the climb, to go back in the one, but do a different set of patterns. If I was in A major, different patterns. This is my standard. So every key has its pattern based upon the difficulty in moving around. Depending upon, again, the spirit of the service, how I am gauging what the congregation is doing, I just find what's, if I'm in a particular key, I'll stay there until the service says, well, until the shout basically comes down. But if I see where, you know, there's a section that hasn't joined in, then I'll go. Now I know today's prevailing chords are the, let me see. I had my own. I didn't have that pattern, but I had my own version of it. My own version was. But it is a learned technique. You have to be in a live setting. These
drum patterns are not live, where you actually feel the actual foot stomp, clap, and a tambourine. That's really the best setting to be in when you're doing that tournament. How do I determine what pattern? You learn them all. The video I shared with you gives you my pattern. So you take your pattern, you include parts of my pattern that you can learn. Now you have a new pattern, yours and elements of mine. You listen to another video of the current shout patterns and you learn pieces of that, and then now you include that into what from yours, what you've learned from mine, and what you've learned from someone else. Now you've got a third pattern, and depending upon how long your praise moments go, your shout patterns are, hopefully they don't go longer than 3.5 minutes. But if it did, you can always intermix different patterns to fill 3 minutes time. People generally do get tired, except when you have an actual drum machine, which never gets tired until you turn it off. That's why I think a lot of the young musicians are basically burning themselves out, trying to keep pace at 166 beats per minute. Anything over 153 is too fast. People need to be able to rev up and rev down, not just continuous. You have people passing out, and not because of the spirit. But I always gauged my congregation. What was the ratio between older and young? That lets me know how fast or how much music I'm going to include with it. Of course, when you're in an organ mode, it's a lot different. In this setting, I can't do an organ mode. Just that's one of my jazz drum patterns. I put it up to its highest speed, which is 300 beats, which I think is in that 155 range. And I'm doing it on a keyboard, which has got weighted keys, which means it's a lot more stress to be able to bounce. There it is. But yeah, it is a learned thing, as I say. And I put this is just one. Did I have two shouts there? I know there's the A flat one. Oh, there was a Kojic shout also. Church of God in Christ. Let's see. Okay, I see I got other shout patterns there. When you go to my main page, just type in the word shout and you will see 5 different videos show up, and they're from 2007 to 2023. So I give different versions of the era of shout patterns from my era. And my era in 2023 was done, just in April? Which one did I do in April? Okay, I did something in praise music shouts in D flat. I'll put that in the chat also. I don't remember what I did there. I'd have to play it back and see what I did. Generally, whenever I do a video and I'm ready for my next one, I wash out of my mind what I just did so I can concentrate on what I'm currently going to do. So that's my last shout pattern in the key of D flat, which was a viewer request. They wanted some shout patterns for D flat. As I say, my mission is to help musicians get better at what they want to do. The hard truth, if you just go, let me pull up the link to my main page where you can search for everything. Where's that in? That is in here. And that is here. Okay, that is the main page. That will take you to all 1,620 videos that I have. And I have them broken down into lessons, into viewer requests, which has got over 169 of those, hymns, spirituals. Um, there are Skype lessons that I've done from some of my students. I will put their Skype lessons on there, Skype summary, so they can, anybody can see what a Skype lesson is like with me. And again, a lot of the earlier videos were just me playing how certain songs sound in the church that I came from. And even when I was did 19 years in a Methodist church, I put some of their Methodist, the style of the Methodist church, in there also, because you never know what church a musician may find themselves transitioning to. Everything doesn't have to be, as they say, hip hop's and um, hip hop style of church. You may want to, as you get older as a musician, go to a church that doesn't have everything is on the go. You want to be able to spread your music wing. Excuse me, spread your music wings. I can see I'm talking so much. I need water. Much longer stream than I had wanted, but I always said if I do get questions from those who view me, I will take the time and answer any question I possibly can. And as you see, if I already have videos out of the 1,620, over 1,600 videos, you will find something there I may have covered already that you're looking for. And I'm usually in the viewer request, I keep those between, I kind of went over that a little bit lately, but normally I keep that between 8 and 10 minutes because it's just a request to show how a song is played. When it's one that I create, then I give a much fuller breakdown of the song because I want to be able to overemphasize the style. And I realize I have a wide, varied stream range spectrum of viewers. I have beginners, I have those that are currently playing in churches, I have those that don't play in the church at all. So I'm conscious as to every video that I do, I will say this is for advanced church musicians, which means if you're still learning if you can't find the B flat major scale, don't go into an advanced video. You can watch it and see what you can pick up from it, but you're going to get a lot of frustration because I don't talk to this is a B, this is C sharp, this is D sharp in the B major scale. I expect you to already know the B major scale. If I call out a chord, this is a root chord, this is a minor chord, this is a diminished chord. I expect a person who's advanced to already have gone through enough of my videos where I do teach all that, to be up to speed for the advanced videos, because YouTube in the early days would only allow me 10 minutes. I guess that's why I probably have that. Charles, no, I cannot explain the liturgical talk music style because I've never done that. It'd be hard for me to explain that without doing a lot of research. And because it's not my genre, the liturgical style, it's not a genre of music that I do. And as I say, a lot of what I do has to be able to support the musicians who are currently learning that. In fact, I did not come up in the talk music era. When I left the Pentecostal church into the Baptist church, they weren't doing talk music. And certainly in the Methodist church, nobody was doing talk music because that was a distraction to what somebody was speaking. Now, I've heard of the musicians who do the talk music, and they are primarily running around chords. They're in their one, and they're just doing. Then, if they know they're going to the four, they'll get there a different way. They'll go to the four. They'll go to. Then they'll go to the four. Then they'll go and they'll do a four to go to the B flat. They'll go back. Then they'll go out of that. And they'll do some jazz changes. it go. That's yeah. It's not. I'm very bad at it trying to mimic it because I never had to do it. I would listen to someone else do it and I go, oh, okay. He's found a niche or chords that he practiced on his own time, and it makes a good musical bed for someone who's having conversation, who runs out of words, and you got to have something going in the back. Me, I would have always, if they're talking about, if they're, I would always find a hymn. If I was going to do talk music, I'd try to find a hymn that may be in the vein, or a gospel song that's in the vein of a person that's talking. Like if someone is if someone was talking about, man, again, I've been out of that era of music. What could they be talking about? If they're talking about church building, they need to build a annex to the church. I go back to um, Benny Cummins working on a building. When I get through working on a building, going up to heaven, get my going up to heaven. That's where I would go. When I get through. This is my era. Working on a building, going up to heaven. That's what I would do. I would find a song that they can talk under that's in the vein of where their conversation is going. Now, if it's just off the cuff stuff like, there's a fish fry coming up next week, then anything will do for me, from my standpoint. Yeah, I'm at the 2 hour mark, according to, let's see, 2 hours and 37 minutes, according. And currently have 10 people watching. So I always want to stop and acknowledge those that have come in. I believe Micah was first, my brother Vergis, The Hard Truth. Thank you for your conversation. Hey, 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 Cindy, who was fixing supper but listening and enjoying. Charles Johnson from Missouri. Andre Clark, longtime visitor. Let's see, Charles Johnson, I called you. Who else? Thomas Mitchell. Hey, Thomas Mitchell. Thank you for coming in. I missed you there. And I believe I've caught everybody. I know there may be some who are watching who haven't acknowledged themselves as being here. I generally ask, let me know that you're here so I can acknowledge you. I'm not sure who may be watching from overseas. I try to acknowledge, again, everybody, because it's always good when people come and visit with me and allow me to share and shed. As you can see, my keyboard is totally open. You will see every chord I'm playing. You will see how I form chords. I'm surprised one of my lights hasn't gone out yet. So I have all these lights. I have 3 lights over my hands, just so I don't get, they still get some shadows. I got to figure out, I need a 4th light to get rid of the shadow over here. But I want you to see how my hands move across the keyboard, along with the Chordy app showing you the name of the chord. But you need to see how my hands are forming chords. Now, of course, when I'm going fast, you won't ever see my hands move but like this. But the Chordy app, when I pause, will show you what that chord is. Too loud. lot of musicians will hide their hands because they don't want you to see. Hey, Hard Truth, you're always welcome to come. Subscribe to the channel. This way you'll be notified every time I post something new, which is generally 3 or 4 times a day. And when I go live, which can be anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week, depending upon what comes in new. I've yet to have a actual set hour because I'm always doing a viewer request for someone. In fact, I have a viewer request now for an old church song. God Specializes. I've got to figure out how I'm going to put that one together and what key they might want it in. But that's an old gospel song. Probably put it in A flat. That seems like a jazz. Diminish, and he diminish, or it could be just 4. I'll go to 4. And he will do what no other power, Holy Ghost power, can do. That's probably too low, too high. Probably E flat. And he rivers that seem. Needs the standard chords. Hold on that B flat. God specializes. Diminish. And he will do what no other power, Holy Ghost power, I gotta remember the words, can do. Then it goes into God's special life. It's the 6th. God's special life. The 6th. Come on. And he will. So I have to figure out how I'm going to create that God special light. Maybe I'll search for a video to give me a frame of reference, the key that someone has sung it in, and the patterns they were using back then. Because usually musicians of my day, if they didn't know where they were going, they just went to the 1 and the 4 and the 5. I wanted to know if there was a 6 in there and a diminished chord and a minor 6. That's what I wanted to know. But sometimes when you're learning from another musician playing this particular song, at least for me, I would hear their version and then go home and practice. Well, if I was going to play it, I'd put these changes. That's that. Oh, thank you. That is that gospel style where that seventh, that minor six, or the sixth, the diminish, and the drop down to the C or the sixth. There's the minor six, and resolve it to a seventh. Scales. Okay, I am going to, as I say, most times when I try to end the live, I start playing more. So let's change my scene, get me away from my my keyboard. And again, thank you all for coming in, spending some time with me. As you look at, this is my home page, and I'm going to change it too. I'm always looking at different ways to present myself on in this type of setting. I may lower my camera a little bit, and perhaps bring up another or use another medium for presenting this channel. But as you see, I have Zoom, I have Skype. Gospel piano chords is what I try to portray in most of my videos. And viewer requests, I have that in red because I do allow those who do view everything I do, who feel that I can be an assist to them, even though they may be a part of other music creator pages. I have no issue with that because we're all in this together. There are music creators that could play me under the table. That's why I go to their page and I am subscribed to them. So when they post something, I'm in class. So I don't ever want to get to the point where I think I've got it all. I have what I need for what I use it for. But if I had to go into another genre of music, I need to go to where it's being taught so I can also learn something. And then I can bring that back here and share elements of that with it playing that in a hymn. But I do enjoy and I have enjoyed the decades, and I say decades, I've been doing this since the 1990s, helping musicians to become the best musician in their era. Those that are on my Facebook page, I want to again thank you for watching. I believe I shared with two groups, the original musicians helping musicians. I shared with that page, and of course on my Sound of Joy music group page. Hope you that those you are there are have been able to benefit for what I'm showing you. If you have questions on my Facebook page, if you are a friend of mine, or if you click on any of my videos that are posted there, I will see your comments. I also answer questions there for you too, just so that I don't leave anyone out. Um, are there any closing questions before I bring this live to a close? I realize there's a 30-second delay, so I'm watching myself and hearing my voice in the background so I'll know that I don't miss anyone. We have 9 who are currently watching as my one went down to 8. Somebody just walked out of the room. That's okay. I've been here a while. Do you switch between platforms to teach? Yes, I'll go to Facebook to show them one thing, and sometimes I will make a video of that and post it on the YouTube page, or I'll make something on my YouTube page and I will link it to my page on Facebook. It depends. As I say, I'm retired. So if I wake up 3 a.m. and I want to do a song, there's nobody telling me I can't do it. It's just turn the lights on and turn on the camera, bring up the computer, and post it. I've been posting a lot of shorts, and those are 1-minute videos, and I've been featuring some songs, but a lot of R&B chords. I know in April I was supposed to go into the how to how to interpret the R&B sound, but I posted a lot of shorts, and some of those shorts are showing my take on how some of the R&B sounds are, because those chords stay relevant in all types of music. I've even heard some gospel songs with R&B undertones. I'm like, oh gee, you guys are going back into the R&B sound again, which is okay because those songs become memorable. So I post the shorts because the shorts give me the most views. I'm averaging on my shorts anywhere from 1,300 to 800 views on one short. So the shorts are leading on my numbers as to which are the most viewed videos, but the shorts are also bringing new, fresh eyes to my channel, which is why I post them. It brings people to the channel and they can see what else I'm doing. So if they're in a musician mode, they can learn some of the more traditional, contemporary, current gospel songs. Or if they know anyone that wants to learn them, they can actually link their pages. So I think I'm averaging, let me see, what is the average? Because I do keep track of this. Um, Averaging 360 new viewers every day, or every week, I should say. This is the weekly analytics, which I watch. Let's see how many we got. And 103 new subscribers so far this month. So if you see me posting shorts and they don't sound like they are quote unquote religious music, it is just music. That's why I call my company Sound of Joy Music Services, not Sound of Joy Church Music, because it's all music. And any understanding of music, it can be related to when you're playing in whatever style. If I was doing Stevie Wonder's Isn't She Lovely? Uh, B. No. D. Oh, I got that turned down. You can't hear it. If I was doing Stevie Wonder's, isn't. Hmm. Hmm. You wouldn't know. You think it's a gospel song. G. F sharp. So you wouldn't know the difference, but those chords are in gospel. In D. So it's all applicable. It can be used. And if you start playing that underneath somebody speaking, somebody in the audience is going to know what that song is because they listen to all types of music also. Just want to let you know this is how much fun I have in music. I'll listen to and I'm doing this. I'm listening to Taylor Swift songs because I want to know how is she getting 53 million views on one song, and I'll listen to it and I'll go, three chords, and I'll go, okay, three chords, 53 million views. So it's got to be the vocals number one, and the personality number two behind the vocals. So could I write a three-song chord? And now that we entered into the age of AI, where you can now put the voice of your favorite singer behind your own song, do I go after AI and find, quote unquote, a voice and put music styled in that same frame of that voice? Stay tuned. I'm looking. Stay tuned. Thank you all again for coming in. I enjoy music. I enjoy creation of it. I enjoy talking about it. I enjoy sharing how it is usable and helping you in your walk and your journey to being musicians. And for as long as I'm here, as long as YouTube stays alive, there will be a footprint of my um, talks and my conversations and my technique on how you can learn to play any song that you can hear. And yes, I do hope to graduate many of you from my channel onto other channels because I've taught you all that I know. Number one, to support your services, your church services, and number two, to support your journey in music. Because I do want you to have your own YouTube channel, to create your own songs. As you see, I've got two of my two songs I wrote, Trust in the Lord and God Still Answers Prayer. Those are songs I created, hired an online singer to sing my vocals, created the tracks because I do use Pro Tools, and now I'm using BandLab on my Windows machine. I just upgraded and put in all the instrumentation. And they are now available on CD Baby, Spotify, Apple iTunes, Pandora. They're out there. There is a way for you to go beyond, as I say, just doing church music. And I do have the whole on this channel. If you search for them, you will see the whole process, how I created the song, how I did the backing tracks, how I put the vocals in, how I built the music around the vocals. That's already on my website. As I say, my intent is to hide nothing. Let me see. I have those over here. I just looked at these. Let me see if I can pick up something right over here. Sorry for looking at my backside, but I want to show you how committed I am to helping musicians. It's not just writing the song, but it is also doing the whole 9 yards. And let's see, is this one of them? No. And getting them copyrighted. These are my letters from the Washington, D.C. Copyright Office for all the songs. These are all different songs that I have written. So they've got the seal of the United States Copyright Office. I also show you how to do that. So it's more than just putting your name on a piece of paper and saying that, or on a recording and saying that's my song. That is another copyright, one of the early ones. There's this song that I copyrighted, and there is this song that I copyrighted. So I don't just, as they say, walk or talk the walk. I actually walk the talk. I know the process of copywriting the songs, creating the lead sheet music, doing the tracking, and then doing the first part of the process is the writing the song. Second part is putting a chord around it, a rhythm, breaking it up into sections. The third part is once you've got that set, putting it on, making it copyrightable so that no one can claim your song because they heard you working it through. Then you begin the next phase of the process is the actual production. How much do I charge to develop someone's original song? That is a conversation I would have to have with that person. I do it for depending upon someone's budget because I am able to do all of the instrumentation. There's no need to hire a piano player, organ player, drummer, guitar, because that's all the basic rhythms you need for any song, depending on which way you want to go with it. If the song is just a melody with no chords or generic chords, I can create a demo file. That's one whole cost rather. If you require a singer, if you have one, great. If you don't, we go to a site called Fever, and we search for a vocalist on this Fever site that could fit within an actual person's budget. You can actually hear them, sample them, what they sound like, which is what I did for 3 of my songs. I sampled this. I said, you know what? Let me hire you for your price. The professional singers, they send the file to me. It's like having them here in my studio, and then they put the music around them. So everything has a price, because what they say, time is money. So there's a standard cost to get the production demo ready. And the demo ready is lead sheet, copywriting done, a vocalist. If it's 3-part harmony, you're going to pay for the cost of 3 people. That's just how it is. And then the file made and mastered, because I also do mastering also. That's why we're Sound of Joy Music Services, not just teaching, but the whole 9 yards. Actually, let me put, let's see, trust in the Lord, so that you can see the process. 2020. Before I close down, you can save these links. I have the whole process. Is this the, let's see, June, October, June started the process, right? Compose, create, mix down using Pro Tools. Okay, well, we'll put you this link. As I say, everything is on my site if you know what you're looking for. Here's the link to the beginnings of the song Trust in the Lord, which is the one you see on the top. That was one I wrote with 4 chords, and I used the scripture, I believe it was Psalms 45 and 1. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not to your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. So that one video will show you the beginning process of finding lyrics, putting melody to the lyrics, putting chords behind it, and then there are subsequent videos after that one, which you can find in that series, that shows the entire production when I got the vocals from the gentleman in Canada who sung the song for me, and how I was able to take his one vocal and put it in. Well, I use Pro Tools, but any digital program can give you the same effect. I use MIDI files and I use audio files directly from the keyboard to augment the sound. But the idea is to create a demo of your original song, so that you can now present it, say, in a workshop. But you'll also will go with the sheet music. I believe I did show, yes, I did show the sheet music creation also, which went to the singer, so that they can have the, not just here, this is what it sounds like, but here's the sheet music that follows the rough, what I call it, a rough demo of the lyrics in the back, and then of course you tell the singer put emphasis on these words, which is what I did. But yeah, Sound of Joy, we are a one-stop location, and as you can see, those album covers, I created those too. Let's see. I like doing show and tell, but I also do create. I have CD, CDs. I can burn CDs if you're still in the CD range. Create the covers. This one is broken. So that if you, as a musician, and this is what I stress to young musicians. You should be monetizing your skills. If you could play and you're on a computer, create songs of just you playing. You don't have to have everybody playing with you. 4 or 5 songs will do it. If you could burn a CD, which most laptops will, or you can get a CD burning plug in the side. You can get yourself blank CDs. If you don't have a printer, you can go to Walgreens or Walmart, I think, still has a thing, and make your own packages. I don't have everything here out, but you can also get wrapping to put around it, and this makes a way for you to fund yourself. And you can say, this is a fundraiser for me. You don't got to sell chicken and watermelon and all that, but you can put your music the way you play, that people enjoy hearing you play, and you can put it on a CD, burn it yourself, and for $5 to $10, depending upon whatever you want to charge as a fundraiser, be able to invest in yourself, and people will also invest in you also. I have a rough version of it with my original piano player, but I need to sound fuller. As I say, that's the conversation we would have to have. The price that I generally make it comfortable for people to work with me is that I will help you to create the demo. If it goes beyond that, then there's another price because that means more time. Where you might have your 1 4 5 chord, I may add a sixth, seventh, and a ninth to the chord. Now the song is being changed. But again, that's a conversation that you have so that there's an understanding that I'm here to help and assist, and this is the fee to help and assist. But if I'm there to create and compose, then as one man said, that changes my hat. Now I become a part composer, and copywriting does leave a space for two composers on one song. But again, that's a conversation that I can talk about here on YouTube and not have a problem with. Of course, that's a conversation that every site that I go to where you talk with the producers, there are um, rules to what you want to do. The worst thing you ever want to do is to show somebody your music and you sit on it and they take it and let somebody else hear it who's in that business and they go, yeah, we can do something with this. All we got to do is change this lyric and change these two chords and it's our song. And that's how it has been for decades. A lot of songs got played and by other people, but it started with one person. And when they hear it, the finished version, they go, that sounds like something I did. Well, yes, because you shared it in an open setting one time and someone had their recorder on and heard it and said, you know what, I can do something with that. Email me at let me put my email in there because I work best by email. Make sure I got that right. So yes, email me there. This way, I have a running reference to work from, and all the questions can be asked. And I have, of course, since I have done this for myself, I have running questions that I would ask to see whether or not I'm the right fit for you. And you should have questions that you should ask. I believe in the scriptures when they say, "In all thy getting, get an understanding." I think musically, I've demonstrated the ability to take a song and create a wealth of music around it. It gets harder when there's a vocal involved because then you have to, especially when it's the vocal who's not physically with me. I rely on the ones that are what I call professional in their singing, and then you have that same conversation with them also. If you change anything, they say, "Well, I got to add." You start a whole new price. I had one singer that I wrote the song in one tempo, and when I heard them sing it, I said, "You know, I want to speed it up." And they said, "Well, you realize I got to charge you again?" I says, "Yes, I know, but you just taught me a lesson. Make sure before I send it off that that's what I want to be able to do." So I had to pay double, but that's okay because I paid to be educated. So now I know better. I have some songs I haven't; they're in the works, um, and I may get them out. We're still in so 4 months into the year. So yeah, one of them or two more of my original songs are going to get out. In fact, let me. I always do this just to be able to talk to the whole concept. I have my discology. Dis. I have all the songs I do. Sometimes I forget the words. But let's see. Yeah, this is the whole process. Those are lead sheets. Two songs I have done. These are songs I have either rewritten. There we go. Which the lead sheet is already done. The tracks have not been created, but the lead sheets are already done. These are all the songs that I have The one you see up there called God Still Answers Prayer, that's God Still Answers Prayer, which is copyrighted. And that's the entire lead sheet in case I wanted to present that to somebody. So I've got a whole bunch here. And this is not all of them. These are the ones I just put to sheet music. There's some I haven't put to sheet music yet. But these are the lead sheets which I can send out with a MIDI file, playing the exact notes at the same timing, and a small rhythm track in the background, so that the lead the hired singer will hear the actual cadence of what I would want. And of course, you some of them they charge a fee, which they allow you revisions, not the whole song, but maybe lyric stuff. But this is what I try to encourage young musicians. Don't just limit yourself to being able to play 4 or 5 chords to a song, but look beyond that. And I've been writing songs since the 70s, 80s, 90s, and even again today. I still write songs today. We started a I started using Chat GPT, and I gave it Chat GPT a request to write me a song about God's grace, because I wanted to see how smart is this machine. And in less than 3 seconds, it wrote me a song which makes a lot of musical sense. And we began breaking the song down and putting lyrics to it, which is one of my lives. Let me pull it up. It should be, there we go. And there's the song written by Chat GPT, talking about God's grace. Grace, oh grace, a gift so divine from a loving God who is always kind. It covers our sins, it sets us free. This grace so amazing, it's all we need. And this was created by AI, by Chat GPT. The words. Now I couldn't do the lyrics. Well, excuse me, couldn't do the notes, because I asked it what notes would you put with it, and it says, well, that's beyond its scope. And then it gave me a chorus. God's grace, a river so wide, flows freely to us, never to hide. We stand in awe, overwhelmed by love. Oh, God's grace, it's more than enough. So it didn't hold the rhyming there, but that's why these things are not perfect yet. But just to know that it came up with a song, a AI computer, within 5 seconds with just a prompt, write me a 2 verse song talking about God's grace. And I watched it just pop out, and I'm going, oh, okay. I would never have gone that way with it. So that was a lesson we did. I created the I created the MIDI track of the notes which we wrote out. We did that in an actual lesson, and the chords, and I didn't like the chords afterwards. So I was sort of got busy doing something else. Brother Gilliam, how are you? Have you ever played for the National Kojic Convention? Yes and no. I did attend when it was called AIM, or when it was called UNAC, I should say. Um, United National Auxiliaries Convention. That was back in the 70s. And I sang in the national choir 2 of those years, I think, that I went. So I went to Houston, Texas. I went to Indiana. Where's the third place I went? Philadelphia. Yes, that was the third place I went. But I did not get a chance to play on the main organ because there's people ahead of me. I put it like that. Did meet with Dr. Clark all the times that I was there. Had my Dr. Clark experiences. And Twinkie, of course, she critiqued me in one of the organ sessions. I thought I did okay for playing for a soloist for the very first time. I didn't know them, but the Church of God in Christ has this thing where you're supposed to push the singer, and I'm like, no, I don't push singers. I need to know what they sound like. They push me. I don't push them. But That's a philosophy of Church of God in Christ um, organists. But no, never sat on the organ in a national convention. But I've had my experiences. I'll just put it like that. I've had my experiences. Closest I've been was in my home church. Home church. I was a jurisdictional organist under Timothy Wright and Bishop F.D. Washington, and they took the church to Madison Square Garden. So I got the chance to play there in Madison Square Garden for a jurisdictional main. What is I guess it was the main service on a Sunday. So that's my time in the under the big lights in Madison Square Garden. But yes, I did serve 19 years as the jurisdictional organist for the Kojic Church in Eastern New York jurisdiction, now jurisdiction number one, because they did the split after my pastor, who was Bishop O.M. Kelly. When he passed away, when he was alive, it was just one jurisdiction. When he passed away, they became four. Go figure. Yes, I am on Instagram and I'm on TikTok. I'm spreading my and I'm on Twitter too. Not much on Twitter, but I am on Twitter, Facebook, also, and where else am I? I think that's it. Oh, welcome TCM Comps. I try to go where I can leave something that's going to find musicians, not necessarily church musicians. Again, when you start getting into the different denominations, what everybody believes and everybody wants, you take it away from music. And I'm like, you know what? Yes, Jesus Loves Me works in any denomination. Let's get you playing it to where people can actually sing it. Why am I seeing prompts that something is happening? Encoding overloaded. Consider turning down video settings or using a faster encoder preset. So it looks like, let's shut this down. No, I can't shut that down. Oh, yes, I can. Let's shut this down. Looks like I like to have a Skype beat where you can tap the keyboard. Wait, I'd want to be like the SKA type beat where you tap the keyboard well. It's mostly because our Caribbean based songs are based like that. Oh, Caribbean. Did I do a Caribbean song? I watched your This Is the Day. Oh yeah, that was the Caribbean song I did. I I wanted to be able to show how a musician should be very versatile and not just one style. Gospel is not the only style of music. There are different styles of how you can approach music. And when you open your ears to the different styles of music, you become a more broader based musician. You may get an opportunity to travel across the seas. I believe I did play in Barbados one year. My choir director took the choir to Barbados to a service. So I have a chance. Again, I'm not a world traveler, but I have been out of the country. Thank you for watching that video. If you think I should put some more out there, it's easy to do. Let's see. I should be able to do, what key are we in? E flat? Let's go to the key of, just to demonstrate the technique. Let's go to the key of C because that's familiar for a lot of musicians. And let's see. Let's pull up my Caribbean beat. I want to do "Oh Magnify the Lord, for He is worthy to be praised" with a Caribbean flavor. Let's see. I used pre-programmed beats when I'm doing to get that particular sound. Let's see what we got. Where are we? Where's the one I use? Multicultural. Is this it? Nope, it's not it. This one? Yeah. Too fast, let's slow it down. Slow it down, speed it up a little bit. Still a little too fast. Slow it down a little more. Trying to get the beat here. Slow it down. Not really a good one. Sometimes you gotta search around for these different sounds. It's multicultural. No, that's Indian. Not sure which one I used. I must have went to a different. Oh. No. Well, could be. Let's see if I can work. Sometimes you can't do it with all these pre-programmed sounds. They really throw you out. This is the day a video in E flat, and I'm good at it. Oh, okay, good. Appreciate that you allowed me to share with you musically. As I say, if I don't leave, I'll stay here as more people come in and have conversations. But I like having conversations. I enjoy having conversation. National Code Convention. Oh yeah, I got my feet wet in the national work. They long services, and when working with Dr. Clark, very high expectations. Alpha and for. Whew, let everything that have breath praise the Lord. Again, that's an era which, as a musician, I was taught to hear songs. Nobody showed me any of that, so I had to allow my ears to hear what were they doing, how was Twinkie attacking it, and how was the choir attacking it. Because I did sing in the choir, not a singer, but I did. If you were a musician in the National Church, you couldn't just come into a rehearsal and sit in the back as they do now and record. You had to buy a robe and sing. Now, because there were musicians there that were playing, I listened to what they were doing. Because if I wasn't doing it, chances are I was going to be asked to bring that song back to the area where I was, so they can teach that song there too. What are the other songs we did there at the National Church? Dr. Clark liked the anthems. What was that song she liked to do? Well, the Twinkie song. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. I can do all. C, the F minor, Christ. I can. G7. C minor, A flat, B flat, E flat, A flat, that strengthens. And to C, I can do it. If means I can do it. I can do it. I can do all things to change and go on to the 6. I can do things. Walk up. I can do all things through Christ. That strengthens. Yeah, so that was an experience being with the National Church and learning the different songs that was there. What was that song in G flat? Trying to remember that song which she used to do in G flat. It was an anthem.
song? She did an anthem. Oh, why can't I think of the song? Only Twinkie could play it. The memory is just it's gone. If I could hear the lyrics, can you play the goodness of God? I would have to hear it. I may not know it by its um by its title. What was that song? Does she do it every year? Goodness. The earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. And they that dwell there. And they that dwell there. And they that in major. And I'm in the wrong key. Wow. He that has pure hands and a clean heart. The earth is the Lord but they that dwell and they that dwell. The earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. Wow, yes. Again, songs I had to find a key. That's probably the wrong key, but I had to find one that I could hear the chord changes. But you had to be a musician back in that day to be considered. If you can't do their standards, then go back, as they say, and work on your craft, and then come back next year.
lot of music has passed through these ears into these hands for the time that they were necessary. I am going to bring this to a close. I'm got to be well over 3 hours now. Yes, 3 hours and 35 minutes. Thank you again all for coming in. As I say, this will stay up. This will stay up on my page. I'm waiting on the YouTube notifications to let me know that they heard music played with their coding on it, and that's okay. It's not a bad thing because I did do a lot of talking through it, so they will, whoever monitors will say, no, for this segment, maybe 30 seconds here, we heard this song being played. What do you want us to do? And I'll just say, oh, leave it there because it's all supposed to be for the benefit of those who view me and who trust me enough to share the gift of music and the better gift of sharing with you. Sorry I couldn't do Goodness of God. I'd have to hear it to see if I can recognize what that song sounds like. The hard truth, you've got my email address. We can talk. It doesn't cost anything to talk about what you want to do. I like emails first. That's where you can clear your thoughts and sort of list the things you'd maybe want to do on one song. I know you said you have a few. I generally like to give people as much information from my standpoint, what it is that I do and what I could possibly provide as a service and direction, because I will always say that before you present your song to somebody, make sure you have a clear understanding that it is your song, which means you've got something tangible that says my lyrics, my melody, and if there are chords, because I think you're a musician, my chords, which means there's no ownership from my standpoint. But I can always hear something and say, gee, why didn't you put a seventh chord there leading into the when you change over to the four? That's nothing to say, oh, put me down as a fellow co-writer. That's nothing. It's only when you say, well, I don't have an intro to the song and I need a bridge to the vamp, and that becomes, now I become a co-writer, which again is just another conversation. That's all that is. And then of course, ultimately, where are you taking this music? Are you going to be presenting it in a workshop? Do you have a choir that you're teaching, or are you looking at taking it and creating something that will be aired on any of the many platforms now, which allows the independent songwriter and producer and composer to share their music around the world? That's another conversation. That's when you go and you see, do you have the talent in your area to best represent your original song, or must you go outside? And trust me, there's tremendous talent outside making themselves available for songwriters. As I say, if you've not listened to God Still Answers Prayer on my last production that I did, there's one young lady doing all three background vocals, and you would have thought I had a choir because she sent me enough stem tracks to have four vocals for each voice. And they weren't just one track duplicated four times. They were four tracks sung separately. So I could see where the inflection of some of the words, and it felt good because it sounded like I had more people than just one person singing the same track four times. So the quality is out there. Yes, it costs because I paid more than I should have because of my own era of wanting to speed up the songs. So, well, if you speed it up, I got to redo everything. I understand. Lesson learned. But that was just one of maybe thousands of potential voices that you can demo yourself in your time and say, well, this is the voice I like. And then we'll see. We'll put together a package that you can send to her or to him or to them in the production of your song. You're not tied to trying to find local singers who you got to worry about them coming in from work or doing it on the weekend and they're halfway tired or they don't quite get what you want to hear. Again, there's a lot that can happen in an actual conversation. And again, you've got my email address, and this is for anyone that is on the YouTube world. I offer these services as a way of funding what I do here on YouTube and on Facebook. If you're watching, I also do that, and I work with other creators out there too, so we can help get your work out there in a way that you'll be pleased with it.
I can see my iPad running out of power. And usually when that happens, I've been on a long time. This guy is supposed to last me 4 hours, and it's down to 21%. So, again, thank you all for spending some time with Sam Talbot here, Sound of Joy Music Services. I can hear my vocals starting to crack on me. And I'm going to say good night or good morning to those who may be watching this replay. Remember, make a joyful noise unto the Lord. Take care. Be blessed, everyone. See you soon. Bye.